My name is Danielle, and this is Trying Matters. If you're looking for a no BS type podcast, this is it. I'm here to help make life fun and interesting and learn right alongside you how to be brave enough to go against the grain. Here, we'll be talking about real challenges and fears that are holding us women back from living our lives to the fullest. So let's shake things up a bit and actually start trying. Hello, guys, and welcome back to the podcast. Today is episode 16, and y'all, I am so tired. And why am I tired, you may ask? Well, because I got a new puppy. Literally, at the time that I'm recording this, we have had her for I don't math, a little over 24 hours, and we've had her for a whole day and a night and another day. So you do the math on that. But I figured today's episode I would talk about what our life is like 2 days in to having a brand new puppy. So buckle up, because you wouldn't think that 2 days is enough to learn anything, but let me tell you, it is. So, and just to give y'all a little bit of background here, um, growing up, I was the kid who always wanted a pet. And if y'all listen to the podcast or y'all know me, y'all know that I am the second of 5 daughters. So my parents were very much so against a pet of any kind because they already had 5 children to take care of. And you moms out there, you get it. You get it. You know that's a lot. So the dream of having a pet was like, no, not gonna happen. You can forget it. Um, so going into like my adulthood, I was always like, no, I'm gonna get a dog. Now, also a little bit part of the backstory here, I am allergic to dogs. So that was another reason why, like, getting a pet, especially if it was a dog or a cat, like, you can forget it. Me, my sisters, a decent amount of my sisters, I say a decent amount because it's like 2 or 3 out of the 5 of us, maybe, that are all allergic, plus my mom is allergic. So that was another reason why we didn't get a pet. And like me, I was like, I'm going to figure it out. Like, I want a dog, I'm going to get one. And actually, I have been trying to make this a thing for so long, and I'm so dedicated to this whole thing to the extent of I've gone to an allergist and I am in the process of getting allergy shots because I'm like, I'm tired of having to stay like far away from my friends' pets. A lot of my friends have cats, and like, I'm allergic to dogs, but I'm way more allergic to cats. To give you a little bit of insight here, when I got my skin test for my allergens, the first thing he put on my back was cat. And when I tell you, within like 3 seconds, he was like, well, you're definitely allergic to that. And I was like, well, I'm going to take a guess and I'm going to say it's either cat or dog, but I'm leaning more towards cat. And he was like, it's cat. When I go into people's houses that have pets, like, I've always had to bring Benadryl with me, and I take daily antihistamines, like nasal spray, eye drops, you name it. I am that kid. I am that person. Always have the allergy stuff, especially if there's pets. So this has always been like something that I'm like, okay, how am I going to navigate this if I really want this to happen and I really want it to happen? And lately, like, me and my husband we've been talking about, okay, when are we going to end up getting a dog? When are we going to start our family? All that stuff. Because, we've been married for 6 months now. Have an episode about that. If you haven't listened, it's really entertaining. Um, so it's like, okay, we've been together for 4 years. We've lived together for a little while before we got married. Yes, we still want to have a lot of freedom and we want to be able to travel, but we also have to, like, kind of start the process of settling down, but we don't want to settle down to the extent of like, okay, we're having a child, because that's a lot different than having a puppy. Um, so like, that was one of the biggest things that was stopping us too. So like allergies and what are we going to do if we want to go out of town? Now, also, mind you, I've been like, dude, you're always out of town because my husband travels a lot for work. So I'm like, I need a companion to keep me company when you're gone because you're gone at least once a month. Sometimes not, but most of the time it's like once a month. So I'm like, I need somebody here with me. So we need to get a dog. And he went back and forth with it, like, I want this kind of dog. And I'm like, no, we can't get that kind of dog. Well, you're getting allergy shots. And I'm like, yeah, but it takes like 3 to 5 years when you're an adult if you start. So getting a hypoallergenic breed is what I have to do. And fun fact, if you are not an allergy person, like if you have a pet allergy, it doesn't matter that the dog is hypoallergenic. It helps because they don't have fur and like they're not leaving their fur everywhere. Their skin is just a little bit different. But if they have hair, they're a little bit more tolerable, and that's those hyperallergenic breeds. So the dog we got, she a little bougie. She was a little pricey, but I've wanted a dog for so long. Like we finally came down to like, okay, fine, we're gonna do it. And I didn't think it was gonna happen as quickly as it did, but boy, did it happen quickly. So we finally were like, okay, we were thinking like kind of summertime, maybe we'll get a dog. And we had like talked about it, and he had kind of like looked a few months back and almost actually got a dog and wasn't going to tell me about it. And then he's like, it fell through. I'm sorry. But surprise, I almost got you a dog. And I was like, what? So I was so distraught. But he had been like, kind of looking. We still weren't fully sold on like what breed we wanted. I knew what breed I wanted and what breeds I could have, but he kept trying to like maneuver around it and like, how can we get what I want? And I'm like, dude, it ain't gonna happen because I need to live in this house. And if we have a puppy or a grown dog, like I can't cohabitate if they're not a hypoallergenic breed. Um, so we were looking like I feel like it was maybe a week ago, and there were two dogs on this one website, and we were like, oh yeah, let's get this one or this one. And initially we had wanted a boy dog, and like I didn't want a girl dog. I don't know why I didn't want a girl dog. I think secretly I wanted one, but I'm like, no, get a boy dog. Boy dogs are just better. And in my family, we have three boy dogs and we have one girl dog. And like, I love my sister's girl dog, but she is so prissy and extra, totally like me in dog form. But I'm like, no, girl dogs are like prissy and, they're too much. So we were going to get a boy dog. Well, I was like, if I'm getting a dog, I'm going to be picky. I'm going to be particular because I have to get hypoallergenic. So it's going to be expensive. I'm getting exactly what I want and I'm not settling for anything less because if this is going to be like the dog, it's going to be what I want. So I really wanted a red hair color. I wanted either red or blonde. Um, and I was leaning more towards the red. So the only ones that were in the red color were girls. And I was like, I'm okay with a girl. Are you okay with a girl? And he was like, well, I've only ever had boy dogs. And I was like, I know we really wanted a boy first. So what do we do? So he like got in contact with people and get this, y'all. This is so sad, but it makes sense. So they said that they upload new dogs on their website every Tuesday. Or in this case, they upload dogs that people like backed out of the deal on. So like people will say, yeah, like this is the one we want. Here we go, like we're ready to roll. They take the dog off of the website, and then the people like apparently this is what the breeder said. And they think about like the level of responsibility and like having a new puppy and all that, and then they back out. So they're like, she referred to them as the leftovers. And I was like, oh, that's so sad. So, and like I know that's a thing, but like it is still so sad. So we kind of looked at, they did end up, having some boy dogs that were the quote unquote leftovers. But we were like, all right, I don't know, maybe we'll see. And I think it was like last Monday. I don't know, but we like put in a request for two of the girl dogs. They had that conversation about like every Tuesday we upload new ones or the leftovers so you can see if there's a boy on there that you want. And then next thing you know, he's calling me and he's like, hey, we got to make a decision. Do we want this one or do we want one of the boys? And I'm like, what? Like right now? And I was at work. So I was like, not in the headspace to be like, yep, let me make this major decision because to me, it was a major decision. Like, this is my first dog ever. Like, this is a discussion we need to have. We wanted a boy, but now I want a girl. And honestly, the whole reason why I was really wanting a girl was because my sister-in-law sent me a video. She was dog sitting her aunt's dog, and like she woke up to it was a boy dog, and he was humping a pillow. And I was just like, no, no. Because I very rarely have seen girl dogs do that. I know some of them do. Like, I'm not naive to that, but like between that and then the whole like their little lipstick popping out, I can't handle it. I can't handle it. And if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. So I was like, I don't think I want a boy anymore. So bad timing that we're having to make this decision when I just had those two things like fresh in my mind. No. So my sweet, sweet husband, being the man that he is, was like, okay, we'll get the girl dog. So got the girl dog. And like, it's happening. And we're like, okay, we don't know when she's going to be here. There's different options because we got her from a breeder out of North Carolina and we live in Louisiana. So we're like, well, what do we do? Like they could have flown to us, they could have driven to us, or we could have gone to them. We ended up deciding like, okay, let's like them coming to us like via car is the most affordable option. So let's do that. And we didn't know if we got to like pick when she was going to come or what. But literally they were like, here, this is the day that we're coming and this is the time that we're coming. And we were like, what? Now, this is where my life has already had to start changing. So because it was so fast, it was like you agreed to like get this dog, like you've already paid your deposit or whatever. We're coming and we're dropping off multiple dogs in our drop off route. So when we get to you and you have to be there to receive it. And like it's a drop and we run. And also, let me set the scene for the timing of this. So normally, y'all have heard me talk about my work schedule. Like I work at a hospital. I'm a speech therapist. If you don't know that already, most of the time I work Monday through Friday. Now, the week that this is happening, or the 2 weeks that this is happening, I was going through a off work week. So I had worked on Monday, I was off a Tuesday, and then I worked Wednesday through Sunday. Well, Saturday evening, like I met up, I had just worked, decided to go to Biloxi with my husband and all his work people and one of my best friends. And he tells me, oh, by the way, the dog's getting dropped off on Tuesday. And it was either, 1 a.m. on Tuesday or it was 6 a.m. on Tuesday. And I was scheduled to be off of work after all of those days on Monday. And she's supposed to get dropped off on Tuesday. So already I was like panic mode because I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know if I can get my work schedule changed around this close. I don't know if anybody is like flexible and when they're able to pick up and switch with me or if that's even doable. Like our caseload has been crazy lately. How am I going to make this work? So my wheels start spinning. And then I'm like, oh my gosh, I have nothing for this dog and I still have to work Sunday. And now I'm going to have to try and work Monday. And I don't even know if that's going to work out. I have nothing. I don't have a bed. I don't have a kennel. I don't have food. I have nothing. So I'm like spiraling because I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And I'm here in freaking Biloxi, like not living it up, but like I could be planning. I could be getting my house ready. I could be all these things. And then I had to like shut my brain down and be like, hey, first off, it's not just you getting a dog. It's you and someone else. So it's going to be a joint effort to get everything ready. But on top of that, I was like, there's nothing you can do about it in this moment. Which, if I've learned anything from Randy, my husband, it is control what you can control. And if you can't, let it go. Like, just let it go. And it's still very hard for me to do, but he like brings me back down to earth when I start to like go into freak out mode. It's like, okay, you know what? There's nothing we can do about it right now. We're not home. Yes, you have to go to work tomorrow. We're going to make a plan. We're going to figure it out. And we'll be prepared enough for when said dog comes. Now, also, Sunday, after this Biloxi trip, I had to go to work and it was Father's Day. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have to go spend time with my family who I live 50 minutes away from. So there, it was just like stressor on stressor on stressor. And I was like, what am I going to do? But then I was like, I could use this to my advantage. So my mom has a dog. My sister has 2 dogs. My other sister has a dog. Use your resources. Exactly what I did. I was like, hey, so surprise, we're getting her on Tuesday. Craziness. I need help getting all of the things. What do you recommend? What do you think is a good idea? And of course, they gave me all of their recommendations. And then we went to Petco and we bought all of the stuff and like super excited. Monday, I had gotten my shift switched. So I worked Monday. So this is 7 days in a row that I worked with a crazy caseload. And Monday, I was like, all right, I'm going to get off of work. I'm going to go home. I'm going to do my workout. And then I'm going to clean the house. We're going to pick up all the laundry, like dog proof the house, set up her kennel and her bed and all the things. And I'm also going to go to the store so that I have the food prepared for the week. So we don't have to do that. When she gets here, we can just chill. Nothing ever works out how we want it to. Control the controllables and let the rest just be, right? Exactly what I had to do, because Monday I stayed at work until 7:30 p.m. Which, again, if you don't know what my regular schedule is, it is 8:30 to 5. And I was there until 7:30 without a lunch break. So I came home and was like, well, there goes all of my plans. I don't have time for a workout. I don't have time to go to the store. Now we have to prioritize what is truly important. Because yes, my workout is like a non-negotiable with me, but it's crunch time. We have to prepare our home for a living creature to be here that's never been here. So that took high priority. And everything else had to go to the side. Now, naturally, if you've listened to this podcast, if you know my personality, and snaps, if you can relate to this, I was doing the whole like, oh, you should be able to juggle all of this. You should be able to make all of it work, do all the things on the to-do list today, right now. And if it doesn't get done, like, you're dropping the ball. You're not doing enough. You're slacking. Like, get it together. And I had to like pull back and be like, okay, is it truly essential for me to go to the store tonight at 8 o'clock at night by the time I got home, where I would have been, near the grocery store that I go to? Not essential. No, it's not. We have food at the house that we can get by with for a day. It's okay. And if we had to order out, we have that option. And then I was thinking, if I miss a workout, is that okay? Yes, it's okay. Because again, that's not the priority right now. Did I feel slightly guilty? Yeah. But at the same time, I know this is not like the end of my workout journey because I missed one day. And in the grand scheme of things, that's what I had to remind myself. So flexibility already before this baby girl is even here. Then, as you heard earlier, our options were 1 a.m. or 6 a.m. So we went to bed late. I didn't really sleep. Ding dong, 6 a.m. on the dot. Randy's alarm was going off at 6 a.m. and ringing the doorbell at 6 a.m. and I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. Like, they weren't kidding. 6 freaking a.m. Okay. Now, also, mind you, I normally don't get up until like 7:15ish. So I was like, morning, blah. I'm not alive yet. Like, still had my mouth guard in, and I'm like answering the door, and I'm like, there's a puppy. It was crazy. Um, so she gets here, and y'all, I hope, I think she's napping right now. But maybe at the end of the episode, I can get her to come in here. And if you guys are watching on YouTube, y'all can see a picture of her. Um, but we'll see. Like immediately, like so much energy. I was like, I'm not alive yet, and you are like a ball of energy. She like all over the place. She's a Cavapoo, by the way. I don't think I said that at all, but she is half King Charles Spaniel, which is like the Lady and the Tramp dog, lady, um, and half poodle. And she is the cutest freaking thing, y'all. Oh my gosh. Immediately when I saw her, I was like, I can't do anything. You are my entire world. You are everything. And I used to think, like, oh, it's okay if you have a puppy, like, to leave them, or it's okay, like, get over it. Like, you're being dramatic. It's just a dog. No. Immediately when I, like, had her placed in my arms, I'm like, she's my baby. I love her. I will do everything to make her life absolutely perfect. And literally, like, I, I'm obsessed. I am obsessed. And like all day, she's just like super hype. And we're like trying to figure out how to learn her and have her learn us. And like she had accidents on the floor. And like I was just laughing because I'm just like, this is a hot mess. This is about to be a whirlwind, which everyone tells you that. Like a brand new puppy is an adventure. And of course, like you think like, oh no, it'll be fine. That's just them. Or like, oh yeah, but I can handle it until it happens. And then you're like, oh no, this is like the raw reality of it. And it's just funny and it's a mess. So my biggest lesson so far has been, like I said, be flexible. So like the first night that like the time I'm recording this was last night. It was her first night. We had this plan that we were gonna put her in her kennel on the other side of the house because everybody said she's gonna cry all night because it's her first night away, which y'all breaks my heart. This poor little baby was like plucked away from her mom and her siblings and like brought all the way to another state so far away. I'm like, this poor thing, like she doesn't know. I can't leave her in there. And our neighbor across the street is helping us out and just like it's her first night away, like you can't leave her alone. Like she's gonna have a panic attack. Like she's gonna have this. That's gonna be so bad. You shouldn't do that. And I was like, okay. Well, periodically throughout the day yesterday, she was sleeping in her bed with her little blanket and all her little toys, and y'all, she's so cute. But I was like, okay, she's sleeping really well in her bed. Like, why don't we put her bed in our room, like not in the kennel? Just put her bed, and we can lay down puppy pads. We didn't train her with puppy pads, by the way. So she has no idea what a puppy pad is until I freaking laid them out that night. I was like, let's just see if she'll stay in her bed. No. Talk about being flexible. We are at the mercy of this pup at this point because she did not, like, she fell asleep with me on the couch earlier that evening. And then we go to, like, put her in her bed in our room and we're like, all right, it's night time. And she was like, what? No, I'm wide awake. So we put her in our bed, which we were like, no, she's not going to sleep in our bed. And it's literally the first night. And I'm like, no, we're already breaking our rules. What are we doing? We have no integrity. It's not even that serious, but you know, my brain is so like rigorous, structured, crazy. So we put her in our bed and we're like, okay, here's our strategy. She's going to fall asleep and we're going to just gently place her in her bed on the floor next to us. Yeah, that lasted for like 20 minutes. And then my husband's idea was put her bed in our bed. And she did not stay in her bed. She like rolled over and was like cuddled up against me. I was on the edge of the bed. He was on the opposite edge of the bed. And like this tiny little thing, like she's like this big. Like she weighs 5 pounds right now. And like she's little. And I was like, I'm scared I'm gonna crush her. I'm scared she's gonna potty in the bed. Like, what do I do? This is terrible. But I was like, I don't want to go put her all the way on the other side of the house at this point because it's like middle of the night. Like, this is it. So flexible point number two, like I'm exhausted because I didn't sleep. And I was like, well, gotta get up, gotta go to work. Morning routine's different too. Like, okay, I gotta take her out to potty, I gotta try and get her to eat. Like she's following me around, wants to play, and I'm like, no, I can't play. I gotta get ready, I gotta get out of here, I'm gonna be late. Flexibility, flexibility. I need to hurry home after work because I need to let her out. All these things. And this is okay, so this is day 2 of having her. At the end of the day, I'm still at work, okay, today, at the time I'm recording this. And my husband calls me and says, hey, are you still at work? Here's the situation. I pulled a tick off of my head this morning. I think she has ticks. And I was like, what? And y'all, again, my plan for today was go to the grocery store because we still haven't gone to the grocery store to get our food for the week. Correction, my husband went and got a few things, but we don't have like any protein. Like we just have vegetables. Like, what am I gonna make with all these vegetables? Because I'm bougie and I like to go to different stores. That's my own fault. That is my own fault. It has nothing to do with him or no, that was totally me. I didn't need to, but so that's the point. So I wanted to go to the grocery store. I wanted to come home and work out, and I wanted to like play with her for a little while and record this episode. And I was like, there's too many things. And now I have to figure out what the heck to do if my house is infested with ticks. And I don't know how this works. Like, I don't know if they travel in packs or like what they do and they're burying and all the things like what you're supposed to do. And like, want a puppy too? I'm like, I have no idea. Like, I can maybe figure out what to do with a human, but like a puppy, I don't know. So I'm like on the phone freaking out with my husband. I'm like, hurry up, get out of work. Go to Petco. I'm looking for like flea and tick shampoo. And then I'm like, this all says they have to be at least 12 weeks. She's 10 weeks. What do I do? What do I do? I'm like Googling and I'm like, Google does not have a medical degree. Why don't I call her vet? Oh, great idea. Called the vet. They were like, no big deal. We'll bring her in. We'll weigh her. We'll give her this medication. She'll be good to go. And then she can come tomorrow for her real vet appointment. I'm so nervous for her. But like flexibility again, because you want to know what I did when I came home? Had to freaking vacuum all of the things. I had to wash all of her stuff, all of the stuff that she was on, just in case. We had to give her a bath. I wasn't planning on washing my hair tonight, but here I am with wet hair. Like, did not get a workout in, did not go to the store. We ended up ordering out food because it was just like there wasn't enough time in the day. It was just chaos. I was like, oh my gosh, this is forcing me to learn how to be flexible. And now I understand how people with pets and children feel. Like, you can't control these types of situations. Like, this stuff just happens and you got to roll with it. And your routine has to change. And that's something that I'm going to have to like continuously remind myself is like, okay, I have to roll with the punches and I have to try and change my routine to work around this new thing that is so exciting and so much fun and something that I've wanted for so long. And I'm not upset with the change in like my routine and what I want to do when I come home and all of that, because it's so exciting to see that little face just like excited to see me and wanting to cuddle and play and all those things. Like, oh, I just love it. It was worth it. It is totally worth it. But it's an adjustment. And like it just rolls into like other aspects of our life. So since she was brought to us way earlier than we expected, literally like the time that she got delivered and the day that she got delivered. We have plans this upcoming weekend that require us to be out of town. The following weekend, we're going to be out of town again. And then the following weekend, we were going to be out of town for like 4 days. So it was like little weekend trip, 4 day trip. And I was like, well, what the heck do we do? And we were going to drop her off with my mom and everything was going to be fine. And then we were talking to my neighbor who's like helping us out. Like she's coming and letting our dog out. Her name's Willow, by the way. I don't think I mentioned that. So she's letting Willow out and um, helping us take care of her and like making sure she's going potty and all that stuff during the day. And it's really nice and helpful. And she's like giving us tips because she does dog sitting like as a job. So she's like, I don't think it's a good idea for you guys to leave her this weekend already. Like, maybe take her with you. And I'm like, oh, I don't really want to do that because I don't want to have to worry about her while we're there. I don't want her like taking away from the reason why we're there. And I want to be able to enjoy myself. And I also don't want to bring her into yet another different environment and like a long car ride and all these things, even though she did take a long car ride to get here. Um, so it's like, oh gosh, now we have to like change our weekend plans for the next 3 weekends. And these things have been planned for multiple weeks. So it's like, oh, this sucks, but it's also still exciting because she's here. But I'm having to be flexible with that and like changing my life around taking care of this little tiny living fluff ball that's in my house. I'm like, I knew that this was going to be like a change for us, but I didn't realize like how quick and to the extent, you know? Another thing that it's kind of like teaching me is, and obviously, like I'm sure some of y'all are gonna hear this and be like, duh, but like how to be patient. That is something that I've been, I pray about that all the time. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, oh, I'm so impatient. And then I'm like, Lord, please help me to be more patient and get a dog if you want to learn how to be patient. Get a dog because it is okay every time, or I want to be more selfless. Let's do that one too, because this is that too. Every time we like every hour we're going outside to potty, like making sure that she is not getting into stuff, making sure that she's okay in her bed and like the bedtime situation, like patience. It's gonna take time for her to like learn what she's supposed to do and like her learning us and who we are to her and us learning her and the things that she does and then training and all of that. Like so much patience is required. And like initially I did like day one yesterday, I was not expecting her to come in and like be potty trained or know all of the ins and outs of how to be a well-trained pup because obviously she's freaking 10 weeks old and we didn't get her trained. Like we're doing it. So every time that something would go quote unquote wrong, I'll just laugh because I'm like, this is so funny. I'm like, we are freaking killing it as first time parents. Like, she's had 4 accidents. She is not liking walks. Like, she slept in the bed. Like, all these things. We're like, roll with it. Freaking roll with it. You gotta be patient, and it's just it's funny, and it's really it's cute. It's freaking cute. She's adorable, but it's us together also just like figuring out how to raise a living thing. That's not us because it's just been us. We've been able to focus on just us and what we want to do, when we want to do it, how we want to do it, and like we're considerate of each other, and it's pretty simple for the most part. Like there's occasional times where we're like, nah, I don't want to do that. And I know we're supposed to like spend time together and go, no, let's do this. And we're still learning the ropes of that. And I think that's something that, constantly is evolving throughout the different phases of a romantic relationship. But, this is different having to learn, you know, who's the softie, who's the one that's going to discipline. And I thought like I would be honestly, I'm so quick tempered and like impatient and just like grouchy all the time. And I'm like, if she has an accident, like I'm going to be the one to fly off the handle. And I'm like, actually, no. I've been like super understanding with her and I'm proud of myself for that. I'm shocking myself. And like Randy, of course, is softy, but he's been like, no, you're going to chill out. No, we're going to go do this. And he's like, she needs to go sleep in there. And I'm like, oh, but the baby. So he's being more of like the rule follower. And I'm kind of surprised. Like we're both kind of taking turns with it. It's an interesting dynamic for us to figure out. And I'm excited to see like how it unfolds and then like one day how it's like similar to how we may parent like a human instead of a dog. But that one's really fun. And then like also learning like or like establishing our rules. Like, is she going to be allowed on the couch? Is she going to be allowed to have people food? If so, when? Um, is she going to sleep in the bed with us? And we're like, no, but like, I don't know. Tonight we're going to try a kennel in the other room, like we initially planned, and we're going to let y'all know how it goes. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't think I'm going to be able to handle her crying. I'm going to feel bad, but we're going to give it a shot. Um, and then like the other part of this is like figuring out how to raise a living thing. The freaking terror that comes along with that, y'all. I don't know how people are raising humans. Like I'm over here like, oh my gosh, is she gonna have an accident? Oh my gosh, is she gonna eat what she just pooped out? Oh my gosh, is she gonna chew on this? Oh my gosh, is she gonna get lost? Oh, does she feel sad because she realized that she's not like where she was born? Oh, does she feel scared because she's alone? And like all of these things, like is a spider gonna bite her? I mean, like where we live, there's freaking spiders all over the place. It doesn't matter how often I clean my house, the spiders are freaking there. And I'm like, she's gonna get bitten by a spider. Or a tick. In this case, the freaking tick, y'all. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Oh, I went full freak out mode on that. Like, mm. Day two, really? Like, come on. And just all of the emotions that I have because I'm such a feeler. Like, I just the whole time I was waiting for her to even arrive, I was like, she's leaving her mom, she's leaving her siblings in a place that she knows. We're ripping her away from her family. And I had to like remind myself, like, she's a dog. Like, yeah, she probably cares, but like she probably don't really know all that much. So, like, is it really that big of a deal? But did I for sure cry when I was using a hair dryer on her after her bath? And she's like shaking uncontrollably because she is one, terrified, and two, cold. Oh my gosh, sobbing. Like, baby. All the emotions that I have. Like, I've known her for less than 3 days. And I'm like, oh. Like, I actually freaking gave birth to her. But anyway, I just wanted to share that with y'all because I thought it was a fun story. And it's it's still like yet another learning experience. I was nervous to do this because I didn't know how my allergies were going to be and I didn't know if I was ready for it. But, here we are. We're figuring it out as we go. We're trying because, I always say it, trying matters. Um, I'm learning to be flexible. I'm learning to be patient. And me and Randy are stepping into a new dynamic and it's awesome. And it's been fun so far in the first 2 days. So stay tuned for all of the fun Willow stories that are going to come. And I hope you'll enjoy this episode. If you have any tips on puppy training or things that are a must have for your pup, please do share with me on social media. You can find me at Danielle Boudreau on Facebook, and you can find me at dadams625 on the Instagram. And as always, I hope you guys love the episode wherever you were listening, whenever you were listening, whatever time of day, in your car, on your walk, while you're folding laundry, whatever it may be. I hope this was a fun one for you. And if you loved it, share it on social media and let me know so that I can thank you for listening and let me know if there's anything you want to hear about. Thank you. Till next time. Thank you so much for listening in. I hope you got a little inspiration to start taking steps towards whatever it is you've been wanting to try. If you love this episode, share it on socials and tag me. I'd love to hear how it helped you. And of course, we gotta get the word out to the other women who are needing that little extra push like you and I do. Can't wait to talk to you soon.